What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. Hey, it is I, your host, the Saint, and guess what? We're going to do a Survivor Series recap today for all you folks who didn't get to see it or enjoy it. I am so sorry for you because it was a pretty badass show. Now, if you want to know all the results, all you got to do is go look at my predictions that were posted yesterday because they were 100% right. Doesn't always happen that way, but, occasionally, what's that old saying? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. I think that's it. So we can just roll with that. That's what happened. Either way, Survivor Series, man, was on fire last night. I sat on the couch, watched it with the kid, and we just enjoyed the show, man. So right out the gate, you had Bianca Belair and her team in a War Games matchup, and they went up against Damage Control, Bailey, and their team. And dude, the beginning of that match was a complete and utter disaster. I don't know whether it was timing or workers or what. I couldn't depict all of it to tell you what every last detail was the problem here. However, with what I saw, the issue was you had EO trying to do some move, and according to somebody, she kept getting hung up in the cage. I didn't see the cage hanging her up. I saw her not getting up, I guess. Dakota had a couple of miscues, and then there was one really bad spot where Dakota was talking very loudly, and you could hear it in the audience, like on television, you could hear it. Then you could see her mouth moving severely, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, this looks like something I wouldn't see on Monday or Friday night. It looks like something completely different. I was not enthused at all. Along comes Alexa Bliss, and thank God for Alexa Bliss. Little Miss Bliss saved that matchup, in my opinion, from the moment she entered the ring until the ending. She came in and turned it all upside down for me. She brought it right back up. So, awesome matchup. Bianca Belair and her team won that match. So, like I say, good show, good match. Really enjoyed that. Let's see here. Oh, we had next was what, AJ and Finn? Or did they do, I don't recall whether they did AJ and Finn next or if they did Shotzi and Shayna next. I think they did AJ and Finn next. Like they went ladies, men's, ladies, men's, men. I think they went like that because there was only 5 matches on the whole damn card, 2 of which were War Games matches. But either way, so I believe we had AJ and Finn next. AJ Styles, as I predicted, pulled off a hell of a win. It was a great match. Yet again, these 2 dudes are fantastic in the ring. It's an excellent, it was an excellent match to watch. They put out a surefire banger, in my opinion. I don't think I saw anything go wrong on that match. I could have done without the outside bullshit, but that's me on every match. I can always deal with the outside bullshit not being there. Just checking a couple settings real quick. Oh yeah, we're good. But I can always deal with that not being there. But either way, good show, good fight, good matchup. AJ takes the dub. He had actually lost like 10 singles pay-per-views in a row. He hadn't won one since 2019. 2019. AJ Styles had not won a pay-per-view match since 2019. And that one was against some random dude. I don't even remember who the hell it was or if the guy's even still in the company. I think it was sent to me. Give me one quick moment here, folks, and I will look to see if I could tell you who that was that AJ beat. AJ finally won. Humberto Carrillo. No, Humberto's still there. But, he finally won. He broke that off, and there we go. In the lamest match of the night, you had Ronda Rousey defeating Shotzi Blackheart, which we all knew. We knew that was coming. Hey, Lance, I see you out there, brother. If you guys over there at the Dudes at Ringside podcast need that's the Dudes at Ringside podcast. If you guys need a shout out or you want to jump in here and kick it. Come on, man. I'll send you an invite. I ain't bashful. But like I say, lamest match of the night was Ronda and Shotzi, and I guess it's because everybody knew how it was going to go. Nobody gave Shotzi the benefit of the doubt to win this, and that's kind of where we are. So with that being said, you've got to that takes everybody out of it. You know what I'm saying? That takes them away from being invested in the actual match altogether. So with them not being invested, it makes things way more, way more open to interpretation. So because nobody was invested in it, nobody thought she had a hope in hell of winning. We got what we got. Nobody was enthused about this. So either way, uh, moving on from that match because it was the worst one of there. We had a good triple threat. Look, I'm kind of over on multi-man matches. I really am. But this triple threat right here had a hell of a tone. I thought the way it ended was fantastic. Yet again, predicted Austin Theory, and your winner was Austin Theory, new U.S. champ. This new shtick of Austin Theories is on point. The guy is vicious. He's visceral. He's mean. He's edgy. I like this better. I I said it once. I've said it 1,000 times, whether it be on here, out there, wherever. I hate the whiny bitch heel thing. I don't like heels like the Miz. It irks me. So to see guys like this doing damage like that, I'm all for it. So yet again, another badass matchup. And then we had the men's War Games matchup, which, I predicted the Bloodline would win, and, here we are. Bloodline won. So wasn't a bad matchup. There was a couple miscues. Looked like somebody said they think Jay Uso broke his hand, possibly. I'm hoping that's not the case, but they were saying he was favoring his hand, and somebody even said it to one of the refs in the room. Hey, his hand looks broke, dude. So it's possible that main event Jay, going to be working with a broken hand, or maybe if it's that dire, they'll have to do something different. But realistically, tag team wrestling, tag team champion, you could probably tape that hand up real good and get away with it. It's quite possible. I'm not sure, but I think it would be doable. And guys, let me know if you have thoughts or opinions or objections to any of the shit I say, because I just say things. Just say things. But that was your Survivor Series recap. WWE has touted it. It was their biggest gate in the history of the event. It's the most pay-per-view watches for their event. It was the most everything made for their event, for Survivor Series in the history of the entire event. Now, once again, like I said, I was sitting there with my daughter, and when they announced 15,000 people, I was like, hey, Elizabeth, think about this. If there's 15,000 people there and them tickets was $100 each, how much money is that? And she was like, what? How much is that? And I was like, it's 1.5 million. She goes, you mean to tell me that they made $1.5 million right there? I said, that's just off people walking in the door. And that's a very inaccurate figure. The reason I tried to explain the inaccurate figure parts is because, look at it this way. The cheap seats are still probably $50-$70, but God knows what them front rows are. It's several hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars for that front row, that them front seats right there. And because it's two rings, it's even more front row market realty. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of extra money to be made on that War Games, that two ring setup, man. People don't think about that, man. But you just made your front row real estate increase by about 40% of what it was. You didn't exactly double it, but you increased it by a good 40%. Because you got to figure 1, 2, 3 of those sides were already there. You added 2 more sides. So you essentially elongated it. That's brilliant marketing, in my opinion, because you just doubled front row real estate, front row tickets. It's uncanny to me that some people don't understand the business side of a lot of this shit. And I think that's like one of the smartest things out. And I'm surprised that SummerSlam did or Survivor Series did so well when you look at the other things that were going on. You know, a lot of people may or may not know it, but WrestleCade is this weekend. And Impact had a hell of a crowd. They had a bigger crowd there than they do at their normal TV show at WrestleCade. Uh, and all the big shots and Hall of Famers and legends and everything else you could have met were there. Um, I don't even know what the gate was or the take was on any of that stuff, but I bet you it was something special. Um, here's hoping, here's hoping. You always want to see stuff succeed, right? It's kind of the way it goes. Let's see here. So, what else do we have to talk about now that because the build up was, for Monday Night Raw was for Survivor Series and for Friday Night SmackDown was Survivor Series. NXT's got this thing going on right quick. They get into this whole spiel and they're getting ready to work an angle between Braun Breaker and I can see him, but I can't think of his name again. And it happens a lot with that guy. Um, damn, I have that terrible thing where I have a very forgetful memory. Um, Jesus, I should know him. The guy he had with him was Commander Aziz. Ah. And then Dominic Dijakovic came back. That's awesome. He returns to spoil Wesley's title defense celebration. Um, let's see here. Braun Breaker is getting ready to be going up against somebody, and I cannot, for the life of me, think of that fool's name. It is killing me. Dude's from Georgia. He came out acting like a Nigerian prince right around the time the Black Panther was a hot, I think it was a hot thing when he came out doing the Nigerian prince thing or whatever. Um, but no, you had Toxic Attraction getting into a melee with a bunch of people. You had Cora Jade defeating Wendy Chu or Wendy Cho, whatever her name is, and I like the Wendy Cho gimmick because it reminds me of my wife. The jammies and the pillow and the drink and taking naps. Yeah, that's why I like that gimmick. I'm like, dude, if my wife was a wrestler, that'd be her shtick right there. It'd be on. You had Ivy Nile defeating Kiana James. Dude, Ivy Nile is legit. I don't care what anybody says, but I really believe that she's going to be badass. Scripps defeating Guru Raj. Scripps is Reggie from the guy that used to flip and jump and do this whole other crazy shit all around the ring with the 24/7 title. And the guy was like part of Circus Soleil or some shit, right? Or some French circus thing. I don't remember, but that guy was there. Zoe Stark defeated Sol Rucka. Pretty Deadly defeated Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. Wesley defeated Carmelo Hayes. And then after the match, Wesley was attacked by Dominic Dijakovic. Here's what I don't get, though. Dominic Dijak is main event caliber. He's heavyweight caliber. Why are you in the ring with Wesley? Like, y'all got all this other undercard talent that y'all could use for a mid card title. Yeah, you got Dijak chasing this instead of the next thing is going to be him and Apollo Cruz. That's the guy's name I've been trying to think of for the last 10 minutes. Apollo Cruz. You got him, Apollo Cruz, Braun Breaker. Who else you got in that upper echelon of heavyweights? I mean, can you guys help me with that with NXT? You can't because there's not that many people that are going after the title that are of that size. I'm one of those people who believes, hey, look, 205 or less, junior heavyweight or whatever the case may be. Yeah, obviously I'd never be a heavyweight contender. I'm not that big. But it's one of those things where it's got to make sense. So that's kind of where I'm at. Um, Either way, it was a fantastic. They had a good show on Tuesday night. I think I caught that. Yeah, I watched that Thursday because Tuesday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week, I was slam packed busy, back to back podcasts. Whether it was for me or other shows or jumping in or helping out or whatever. I was all over the airwaves all week long. So now this weekend is me doing this show, and we get to go. But like I said, man, Monday Night Raw was basically just a bill with the big get of the whole thing was KO. KO is the tag team partner for for the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre, which works, makes sense, and plays into the story even further. Does everybody realize that this is, I think, the final pay per view or premium live event for the WWE for the year? It's the last, if I'm not mistaken, it's the last one. The next one that they have is going to be the Royal Rumble. And there are zero, zero contenders for Roman. Now, I know we all just heard the bad news on Randy. That sucks. So we know Randy Orton's not being a surprise Rumble return, unless that's fake and that's the gig, and he's going to come at the Rumble. That would be dope. I'd be okay with that. I love being tricked with for a good reason, and that would be a good reason. That'd be a great reason. Um, now let's look at this the other way. We haven't heard a lot about their recovery or return has been Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is still, in my eyes right now, Cody Rhodes is still my projected Royal Rumble winner. And everybody's like, oh, it's coming where the bloodline and Sammy, and they're going to turn on him and this and that. You know where that's going to happen? That's going to happen, in my opinion. This is me spitballing back here, taking a wild guess, right? That turn happens in the Royal Rumble. The brothers from the bloodline, so the Usos and Solo Sikoa, are going to be the ones to eliminate Sammy. That's the turn that sets up WrestleMania moment, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking the titles from the Usos. That also sets up Sami Zayn going after, and hell, here's how you can make this make even more and better sense. Kevin Owens can challenge Roman Reigns again for the Universal Heavyweight Undisputed title, whatever, at Royal Rumble. Roman doesn't have to defend it. Who gives a shit? Then you go to, I believe it's somebody said that we've got Elimination Chamber, which is happening over in Saudi, between between Mania and Rumble. We've got that. So if that's the case, if they chuck his ass out at the Rumble, at Elimination Chamber, you could have Sami Zayn going up against Roman Reigns. So now you've just had Kevin Owens lose to Roman, and you've had Sami Zayn lose to Roman. In the Rumble, the return of Cody Rhodes, he wins that. He gets the main event at WrestleMania for whoever the champion is at the time. Cody Rhodes is going to dethrone Roman Reigns at the WrestleMania this year, and at the WrestleMania next year, because we are 34 days, 30 somewhere in that neighborhood away from next year, 34, 35 days out from 2023. I'm already ready for 2023. It's going to be a huge year, mainly for everything wrestling related. It's going to be a fantastic year. We got a lot of new things in the pipeline. We got a lot of shows we're working towards, and things we're trying to build. So, try to expand that market. one thing I've been trying to educate some of these younger and I'll say the younger guys who are trying to find a way in to this business. One of the things I've said is, look, if this is what you want, tell me this is what you want to do, and then I'll do the best I can to help you. Also, how much money do you need to do this? So once I find out what their rate is, when I make a deal with promoter A, B, C, or D, I'm like, hey, by the way, do you need, do you need, do you have any use for? Then I in turn say, well, I've got this guy, I've got this setup, we can do this, I can handle that. If you make it a package, right? You make it a package deal, and you make it so everybody gets taken care of and everybody gets what they want. You're helping out your friends. It's like the smartest thing you could do. At least in my vote, that's been my way of doing things. But who am I? Just some random dickhead from DC on a podcast. So, but either way, man, NXT was fire, and people been sleeping on that, but people been sleeping on Impact and that because everybody's been so wrapped up in AEW. I'm still not sold on the AEW product. The coolest thing about AEW product to me is the fact that they pay a lot of my friends. So I'm down with that. Like any opportunity my friends have to make more money, hallelujah, it's a miracle. I'm down because it helps them. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to bring me to AEW. They got Roberts or Justin Roberts or whatever the hell that guy's name is. They don't need me. But my friends can go and make money and be successful and have great. Awesome, go. I'm happy for them. I'm ecstatic and elated that they get that opportunity. I think that's wonderful. And a lot of people don't do that either. A lot of people out there, y'all learn this if you don't know it already. A lot of people don't give a damn how you're doing as long as you ain't doing better than them. That's a big ass problem. I'm happy for my friends that are out there doing all this shit. I'm happy for them for making it on TV. Man, you go. Whether it was whether it's been a man, which y'all have seen on my show, or a female I know, and you ain't seen her on here, but she's been on AEW a couple times. It don't matter to me, man. I am happy they're there and getting paid because they love it and they deserve it. They've worked their asses off for it. So I don't get why some people are like, oh well, you can't be happy for everybody. You can. You can be happy for whoever you want to. I'm happy for my friends that make it and get to go and live that dream, performing in front of that crowd. Even if they're going in there getting their asses whipped, they still got to go. Have you ever performed in front of 15,000 people? I don't believe you have. So, they got one. You see what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. But I'm weird about shit. I'm weird about a lot of things. See here. Like I said, man, Monday Night Raw wasn't nothing insane, wasn't nothing crazy. You had the Real got the advantage for her team, and they lost. And then on the other side of that, you had the not bloodline, the Brawling Brutes had the advantage, and they lost. So whoever had the advantage this year lost. Hey, there's another clue that might have happened. Then you had the Judgment Day coming out and interrupting it. You had and the Brawling Brutes defeated the Judgment Day. Omos defeated Johnny Gargano. Why was that even a match? That was freaking dumb. Seth Rollins addressed the whole thing with the triple threat. Austin Theory defeated Mustafa Ali. Lashley and Theory brawled. Matt Riddle and Elias defeated the Alpha Academy. Y'all got to make it make sense with Riddle and the tag team, because unless you're going to be sending him after a mid-card title, dude, can we get him and Walter, or him and Gunther? Can we get that to be a match? I want that to be a thing. I want to see that as a match. I could care less about him chasing the Intercontinental title or the United States title. I don't want to see Matt Riddle versus Theory. That doesn't interest me. Matt Riddle versus Gunther interests me. I want to see that. I think that would be awesome, because the way the Ring General is and the way Matt Riddle can fight, I'm telling you, that would be a match that's worth its weight in gold. Look at how good it was for Lashley versus Riddle. That'll tell you. Lashley versus Riddle was badass. I'm just not into Austin Theory versus Riddle. That doesn't sound appealing. Drew McIntyre defeated Baron Corbin. Well, mid card hell seems to suit nicely for him. I'm glad he's enjoying his stay there. He'll probably be in purgatory for another 5 years. The OC engaged backstage brawl with the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka. We already covered that part, and that was the end of Monday Night. And like I say, Raw wasn't a bad show. I was just busy, so everything got caught. When I don't sit there and watch it, I don't sit there and absorb it. When I sit there and watch it on the DVR after, I zip through the commercials and I'll skip some of the BS parts, and I don't absorb as much of the information as I would have normally. So it's all in what you're into and what you're interested in and how you feel about it. But then you had Friday Night SmackDown, right? Becky Lynch returns as the fifth member for Bianca Belair's team. Santos Escobar defeated Butch in the World Cup qualifier. Or World Cup semifinal match, I'm sorry. So I guess that's a thing. I'm surprised Shane McMahon didn't win this one. Bray Wyatt claims he did not attack LA Knight as he continued to battle his demons. The Viking Raiders defeated Hit Row. So the Hit Row have got a ways to go. Don't get me wrong, they're popular enough and they're good enough in the ring. However, in order for them to really be taken serious, they're going to have to do a lot more work. Okay? It's not just about what you do in the ring or outside the ring. It's how everything's delivered and perceived. So in their case, they've got to be able to do a bit more to get not just the crowd, but to make it believable. I have a hard time believing that Ashante Adonis would Ashante the Adonis, excuse me, would be able to beat either one of those two big guys, Eric or Ivar. However, Top Dollar is for a big guy, he's a badass athlete, man. So I don't know what they're missing or what needs to be adjusted on them, but I'm liking the fact that they're still around, so it works for me. Ricochet defeated Braun Strowman. I still don't understand how that works up. Oh, yeah, that's right. So Imperium interfered. Ricochet rolled him up. And it's like, this is goofy. So it's now going to be Ricochet versus Santos Escobar in the SmackDown World Cup tournament. And what did they get for winning this? Did they get like a Intercontinental title shot? Is that what that is? And then you had Imperium end up beating down Strowman. The one and only Ricochet returned to thwart that and get that to stop. And here we go. So I guess that was his penalty for the shit he was talking backstage or talking about. Flippity floppers ain't shit, and monsters are the real, or flippity floppers are fake and monsters are real, or some mess like that. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defeated Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi. Well, Ray Charles could have seen that coming. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus defeated the Uso in a War Games advantage matchup. The fact that you let your tag team champions lose on air, ridiculous. That doesn't do them any justice. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference that they were on the winning team in War Games when they, as a tag team, took a L to a team that's not a tag team. So make it make sense. Two random guys get put together, and then here we are. You see what I'm saying? That's that bullshit. I don't like that stuff. I don't get it. But either way, you know what? That wasn't a bad show either. The whole week thus far, for at least for WWE side of this, was not bad. It really wasn't. There was a whole lot worse things that could have come out than what we saw. So let's go ahead and we're now going to switch gears. We're going to talk about AEW. I know it's everybody's favorite topic, so we'll go ahead and cover AEW. AEW Dynamite. William Regal started the show out in the ring. Moxley came out, and you better run and as far away as you can, and right now, and keep going. Okay, whatever. Renee Paquette interviewed Keith Lee. What up, Chuck? How you doing, man? Hope you had fun at WrestleCade over the weekend. By the way, saw your pictures. That's dope, buddy. Um, Paquette, like I say, Paquette interviewed Keith Lee. Um, Swerve and Keith went back. You know, they're going to go talk their stuff out. Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends versus Jake Hager and the Jericho Appreciation Society. So Orange Cassidy versus Jake Hager, and Orange Cassidy won that. After the match, QT Marshall came out, talked his trash. Then, what was that? The House of Black showed up and did their thing. Everybody getting jumped. Every faction running out. Just so much shit. There was just so much stuff on that. There's a lot to unpackage from that match. All Ego Ethan Page versus Absolute Ricky Starks, and the winner receives a world title match at Winter is Coming. I was glad to see Ricky Starks win this. I was really rooting for him to do that. Let's see here. Best of 7. Match 2, best of 7 series. The Elite versus Death Triangle. The Elite are now down 0-2 against Death Triangle, being 2-0 against them. And both time it's been the damn hammer. I don't understand what they doing with hammers. Like, I get it, but is that going to be like your new gimmick? Are you going to let that gimmick take a world title? Not the World Trios title, but like your AEW heavyweight title. You going to let that happen? I'd love to see that. Keep going that far with it. If you're that invested on doing it, run it all the way up the pipeline. Seriously. If it's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander, right? Isn't that the statement? Isn't that the saying? Can somebody help me? I don't know adages. You know adages? I don't know adages. I know outages, but not adages. Okay, there's a difference. Renee Paquette went on stage again. Huge announcement. Thunder Rosa has released the title. She's relinquished it. AEW's women's champion, undisputed, is Jamie Hayter. I am down with that. And as far as I'm concerned, that means to me, Tony Storm's reign needs to not have the word interim near it. Not near it at all. That's not right. You can't do it for one and not the other. Bullshit. I'm a matching energies type of person. I'm an equal and fair and balanced type of shit. If it's good enough for one, it's good enough for the other. If it ain't good here, it can't be good there. We don't mix this shit. You got to do everything's got to be level. You know what I'm saying? Triple threat match. Triple threat tag team matchup. Tay Mello, Anna JAS versus Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue, and the AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Hayter hit the hate breaker on Sky. Baker followed up with the curve stomp and pinned Sky. So, Hayter and Baker won that. Now, the cool thing here is none of these people are real tag teams, right? They don't function as a tag team. So it makes sense that anybody could win it when they're not a full-time tag team. Does that make sense? Because think about what I just talked about a minute ago with SmackDown, where I just said you got two rando thrown together dudes beating the record-breaking, trend-setting tag team champions of SmackDown, but you You have that happen, but see here it makes sense because nobody's a freaking team. Renee Paquette is backstage with Top Flight and FTR, uh, and they're gonna go at it on Rampage. We'll get to Rampage in a minute. We all know what happened. We all know one of the dudes Top Flight supposedly hurt, but we'll get there when we get there. AEW Tag Champs, The Acclaimed, came out to the ring with Daddy Ash. Jay Lethal and them tried to interrupt them and cut that out. Your main event for AEW Dynamite was a Ring of Honor World Championship matchup. If you can't figure it out, this was like one of my biggest complaints that I've said about AEW. I don't like the fact that you are putting their product, a company you bought, an entity you bought. It's your product, but you're putting their title above the one you created. It's the main event. It's the most important thing for your night is another company that you didn't create. What? Do I look like the dumbest guy in the room to you? Because that's how it feels, man. That's how it feels when you're dealing with this stuff. I don't understand. If Ring of Honor is that important, it needs its own show. If Ring of Honor is that great, you've got Daly's Place, you've got all these other shit that you do on YouTube. You can do the same thing on YouTube for Ring of Honor. You don't have to do this. Create another show. Add hours to your show. Work more dates than Wednesday. Okay? Do more than just Wednesday night, Dynamite and Rampage all in one set, and then 7 hours that the crowd's there. Dude, you don't want to go up against anybody? Is that what it is? Because Ring of Honor stock, Ring of Honor on a Thursday night would beat Impact. I'll be honest with you. Ring of Honor straight up would beat Impact. But that was also Ring of Honor from like back in the day of the guy that mattered. What was his name? Oh yeah, Gabe Sapolsky. Back in that day, yeah, Ring of Honor, that era would have crushed AEW. Hand over fist, dollar for dollar. No bones about it. Ring of Honor in that era was a much better product than AEW could ever want to be. Ring of Honor should have been seen as and treated as number 2 anyway, as in the second, the very next in line from WWE for quality of product. Because they had good shit. The Ocho, Chris Jericho, defeated Tomohiro Ishii in the main event. Did he gig himself to bleed, or did he get slapped in the chest? Like what? I don't know what happened there. Did he get slapped and busted open in his chest? Did he get chopped that hard that it cut him? Like if so, because that was a lot of freaking blood, dude. So I thought he gigged himself or something, like he stabbed himself. But who knows? Oh, am I not allowed to say gigging? Is that like an industry term? Was that like an unprofessional remark? I don't know. But either way, now we're going to go ahead and talk AEW Rampage. Like I said, you had that tag team matchup, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. Dash Harwood, Cash Wheeler versus Top Flight, which is Dante and Darius Martin. It looked like Dante tweaked his knee or something. I am not 100% sure. And they don't mention anything about it here. And I don't remember them saying anything about it on television either. So I think they cut it all out. But man, I saw the footage. So I mean, so that makes me think it's real. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw the footage from online and they cut it on the TV and they make no remarks about it here at all on their website, on AEW's official website. They make no statement about it. So if it was a work, they'd be talking about it. But it's a shoot, it's real, so they don't want to talk about it. That's the difference, working and shooting. For those of you out there in La La Land who don't know. The Ocho came out to talk their bunch of shit. They went out there and talked, the Ocho and all this and how he's the greatest, and Claudio Castagnoli's music hits. So now it's going to be them two at Final Battle. Final Battle. We're getting Ring of Honor versus Claudio Castagnoli. And I mean, I'm going to guess at this point you're going to have Claudio win. I guess that's the next logical step for this match. I don't know. Darby Allen versus Anthony Henry. Dude, Anthony Henry was a badass dude. I was like, man, this is awesome. But Darby hit him with the coffin drop. Game over. After he hit Scorpion Death Drop, owed to Stinger himself. Lexi Nair interviewed Athena backstage. Hikaru Shida versus Queen Amanata. I got no idea what the point of this match was because I'm not real familiar or if anything was going on with this. But either way, Shida ended up pinning Queen Amanata in that matchup. Then main event, you had Roosh, the Butcher and the Blade versus the Dark Order, which is John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Preston Vance. Wow. After the match ended, which was Roosh doing his thing, John Silver mounted. Let's see here. I forget how it went. Oh man, I see that's the sad thing. I just watched all this, but it looked to me like they won. It was it was Roosh and the Butcher and the Blade. They ended up winning that matchup, but man, it was just crazy that there's so much different stuff going on that we end up with this. Now you've got a dude turning in his mask and he's no longer with the Dark Order. He's just going to be Preston Vance now, I guess. It it was just a weird scenario. Like I get it, he ended up turning on him. So it looks like this is finally going to be the end for the Dark Order. Um I could be wrong, but there's so much out there, so much content. Dude, we haven't even done Impact yet. Like I say, Impact is not on anybody's radar, but it should be because Impact's been some pretty good shit. Um, Let me get the recap pulled up from Impact because you know me and my peon brain, I can't remember anything. Um, let's see here. Impact on Axis. Yes, it was. Let's see. You had Raj Singh and Shira versus Yamiura and Delirious. Raj Singh and Shira won that matchup. Let's see. Rhino defeated Alex Shelley and Zeke Abdul Bashir. The hell is this? Oh, that's right. They kept flipping back and forth in time on the damn show. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. That was some old shit. I guess they just covered stuff on their show this week, or they just did some old stuff. I don't remember. I remember sitting there watching it, and I was like, what the hell is this? I saw AJ with short hair. I saw Kurt Angle. There was a bunch of their classic stuff. I guess they just made a holiday episode, uh, and that's what they went with. But normally, people have been sleeping on Impact because it's been rather decent. Yeah, it's a bunch of old shit. There was nothing here. They didn't do anything this week. Oh yeah, I guess because they were trying to make it look good for being at WrestleCade. Now, if they use the matches and film from WrestleCade, that's going to be awesome. Rich Swann was there. Su Young was there. There was a shit ton of them there, man. So I'm interested to see what pans out of that. Yeah, all they did was cover a bunch of old shit on their episode this week. So they had a remix episode basically. Which yeah, hey, good for them. It was content. I remember sitting there watching it, and I was just like, "What the hell are we doing?" Um, but at any rate, folks, you know what? I'm all out of answers for you. I've told you pretty much what I think's coming in the near future. I've given you the recap for the entire week of professional wrestling. I just don't know what else there is to cover. There's no word on what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, but that's the great thing. We're going to see how they build towards their next pay per view. SummerSlam was pretty much a done deal when Triple H took over, right? There. Here we are. This event was predominantly was just under Triple H. There was no Vince in this one. See what I'm saying? So with that being said, now you've got to look at how they're going to build from show to show. It kind of feels to me like the pay-per-views are being used like blow-off events, which they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the big blow-off, the big payout. You know, that's where the big stories are supposed to end or shift into the next gear. It's not supposed to feel like a Monday Night Raw or a Tuesday night NXT or a Friday night SmackDown. It's supposed to feel like a big freaking deal. That's why you pay extra money to go there live and you pay extra money to watch it on TV. So I'm hoping that that's the direction we're going with Triple H. But it feels like all those old storylines are now cut and dry and almost done. I think the only thing that's going to carry over, you know, or now you get the spinoffs from them. Now you're going to end up with, you know, Judgment Day. Are they still going to be going after Balor and them? Or is Balor and them still going to be going after the OC? Who's going to beat Roman? Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Great question. Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania is my answer for that. He will. My current prediction line was he's going to have a defense against Kevin Owens at the Rumble. He's going to have a defense against Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. I can see that making sense. And the Rumble will be Cody Rhodes. And then the winner of your Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes, will face him and beat him at WrestleMania. That's where I'm at with it. And then unless they're going to do something to swerve everybody and The Rock's going to be there, which I don't see that being a point. I don't see that being unless God mode Roman Reigns himself has to wrestle twice in one night. 2 WrestleMania matches. Cody and him. And then The Rock and him. Now, yes, no. Maybe The Rock could keep up with a gassed Roman Reigns. You know, a guy that's already had a match and lost his title and everything else. Maybe he could keep up with it. But I still think Roman would beat The Rock. I really do. I believe that. I believe Roman would beat The Rock. I don't know, man. That's where I'm at with it. I'm still saying Cody Rhodes is the guy to take the title off of him. Yes. Oh, you agree? Very good. What else you got, Brandon? You got Chuck? You got anything else for me, man? Like, damn, I could go, but I gotta have questions to answer. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have questions to answer. If you want them answered, I'll answer them. But I gotta have questions to answer, or I can't do nothing on it. I got 5 on it. There's that. Well, that was a great song. That's funny for those of you who get it, and those of you who don't. I'm sorry. You'll never know any better. Yeah, I'm saying he's gonna lose it at Mania. My thing is Roman Reigns is going to lose the title to Cody Rhodes. He's going to successfully defend against Kevin Owens. He's going to successfully defend against Sami Zayn. That's the only thing that makes sense logically right now. He's going to keep it until WrestleMania. Yeah, that's it. He's not going to beat. He ain't going to lose it to KO. What's KO need that belt for? He don't. What does Sami Zayn need that belt for? He don't. Because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going to win the tag titles at Mania. Because Sami Zayn is getting thrown out the bloodline, and that's happening at the Royal Rumble. The Usos and Solo Sikoa are going to chuck him out the Royal Rumble matchup, and that's where the turn comes in. So they turn their back on Sami. Sammy leaves. Uh, then when KO challenges him, they go out there and beat his ass, and Sammy comes out to save him, and that solidifies the turn. Then we go to the Elimination Chamber where he goes after Roman. They come out and beat his ass. KO saves him. Now you've got unified front of KO, Sami Zayn going up against the Usos. They're going to dethrone them. I almost want Solo to have a mid card title. Like, I just want to see. I would love to see Solo Sikoa versus Gunther. I think that would be it. I think that would be a badass way to go. But the reason I'm saying I want that is this. Let's open up WrestleMania with Solo Sikoa versus Gunther. You know, the ring general right there, opening up WrestleMania, right? So you get that. Then you actually have Solo Sikoa take it. So for that brief period of window right there, the Bloodlines got all the gold. They got mid card. The only thing they got is a women's title. Bring Naomi in there and have her beat Ronda. Jesus Christ, that'd be great. Anything be better than Ronda Rousey right now. But and we've had this discussion before. Well, I have with somebody, I don't know who. Ronda Rousey is going to lose that title to Shayna Baszler. Mark my words. I don't know if they're going to give her a Mania moment out of that, or if they're going to do that at the Rumble. I'd be down with that happening at the Rumble, because then you get the rematch in Saudi, and that's a big deal. And then the Royal Rumble winner versus Shayna at Mania, and here we go. I am okay with all that. I think all that works. Ronda is nice. What are you talking about? Dude, did you watch that match yesterday? Because if you watched that match yesterday and you're going to tell me Ronda is nice, I'm going to tell you that you, my friend, need to call and get an eye doctor's appointment, and I will take you myself to get you hooked up, because that's bullshit. I don't agree with that at all. Ronda not nice. Ronda nice to look at, maybe, is what you're saying, but she's not nice in the ring. Not even a little bit. She's a draw. She's a draw. That's for real. She is a draw. People don't realize that she's a draw. But the problem is she was a turnoff because nobody gave Shotzi credit to the ability. I would say, yeah, anybody can win on any given Sunday. Dude, yeah. Oh, Brandon, you ain't see it. Chuck, come on, man. Listen, I'm telling you, Chuck, what need to happen is you need to go watch that show from yesterday. Because I'm telling you what, you watched that match. That was the worst match on the whole card. Was that? That was the worst spot yesterday. Was that one? Ain't even close. Absolutely piss poor matchup. But anyway, I really ain't got much else other than that, man. I done covered all the weekly wrestlings. I done covered this weekend show, and I did it all in about 45 minutes. I've been sitting here just kind of BSing the last 10 or so. Um, Either way, it is what it is. It's not the greatest thing, but I think I think Ronda Shayna is the way to go. Hmm. War Games was badass. Dude. I just did a full recap of the whole show, and if you saw my predictions from yesterday, those were all right. Every prediction was 100% right. Um, dude, War Games is a fun event. I used to watch it when they did it at NXT. I don't remember it from the 80s because that's when I was born. So I wouldn't remember that from the 80s because I wasn't really paying too much attention back then. Plus, that was a WCW thing. You know, that was a Dusty Rhodes, Jim Crockett Promotions thing. That wasn't I was born in the South. For anybody that doesn't know geometry or geography, let me help you out. Um, Virginia is still the South, technically. Mason Dixon line dictates Yankees and Southerners. Okay. The Mason Dixon line is between Maryland and PA, Maryland and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is Yankee. Maryland and South is not. So I'm still technically a Southerner. However, because I'm from DC, I'm more of an asshole. So that's where that Yankee ish comes in. That's going to be the new term, Yankee-ish. We're going to make that a thing, Yankee-ish. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that made a shirt. We're going to call it Yankee-ish because it's not quite the full thing, but it's a little bit like it. It's just enough to give you that buzz and be like, hey, wait, what? What is this, the real deal or is this the fake thing? So it's enough to make you question yourself. That's where we need to be. Um. So yeah, I was more of a WWF guy, so I didn't get down with war games and all that. Now my brothers, they knew all that AWA, NWA, and WCW, and that was more them, and that's cool. Uh, I'm sure back then they did have a better product, and the WWF was more the cartoony shit. Cool. I When I was coming up, like I remember the Undertaker debut. I remember things like that. uh, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels kicking Marty Jannetty through the damn window. I remember that. I remember, King Kong Bundy and Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man Randy Savage. I remember that whole part there. Of course, I still remember the gimmicky shit, all that, Bastion Booger and Doink the Clown and Duke the Dumpster Drosy and the Brooklyn Brawler. I remember all that shit. But that doesn't mean anything. Just because I remember it doesn't mean anything. You got to look at it as the overall picture. I remember the big hits that came out of it. And the big hits that came out of that in the 80s were the big hits that came out of it or that were still in it in the 90s and even into the 2000s, really. Um, I am of the believer. I am one person, and I know I'm not alone, but my opinion on this one probably hurts a lot of people's feelings. Bret Hart wasn't even the best Hart wrestler. Owen was. Owen was the best wrestler, professional wrestler, sports entertainer out of that family. Owen was far more charismatic, had more shit up his sleeve, and had a better look than Bret the Hitman Hart did. There's no bones about that. That's just me. Chuck says I'm NWA. Hey man, look, I got you there, but like, what I'm getting at is there's even in the NWA, dude. When you look at the NWA, I don't remember a bunch of it, because the old school NWA. I don't remember much of the old school NWA at all. When the NWA first came back under Billy Corgan, dude, I was down. I was down. That was badass. What is this? War Games was good. They did it up until like '99. I think the last one had the NWO and Warriors in it. Yeah, they did it then, but like, uh, Travis. Even with that being said, dude, War Games wasn't the same as it was back in the '80s under Jim Crockett. War Games that WCW did was a watered down version. War Games that WWE did in NXT and last night was not a watered down version. The issue with last night, the women's match, the first, like I say, half of it until Alexa Bliss got in there sucked, in my opinion. My opinion only, but just my opinion. Um, the men's matchup was uh insane from start to finish. Yes, Triple H was in there. He was terrorizing. He was terrorizing. Yeah, I remember that. More of a high flyer. What you talking about? Owen was more of a high flyer. Yeah, but even later on in that, it was badass. Later on in his career, he was built like a brick shithouse. I mean, the guy was huge. He was twice the size he was, or he was way more jacked later in his career than he was when even he beat Bret at WrestleMania 10. Another great match. Huge, huge thing. Yeah, back in like WrestleMania 10 era, Owen Hart. I'm talking about even later on in life. When he had like the warning and enough is enough and it's time for a change shit. Even under that shtick, man, he was badass then. Um, I don't agree that they need to cover the top again. I was down with that, but see what kept messing me up yesterday was they kept saying If you escape the cage, your team is disqualified. You lose for your whole team. I'm sitting here. I'm like, in my asshole brain, I have just discovered something. If I wanted to win, I just throw the other person off the top of the cage to the outside of, and cause the whole team to be disqualified. That would be me. That would have been me. That would have been how I would have done anything. Because I think it would have been like, oh, lost by getting disqualified in a War Games match. That's hilarious. If you cause the disqualification, it's the same principle as hitting the guy with the chair, throwing the chair, and laying on your back like you're the one who got hit. It's the same. It's that Eddie Guerrero hit. It's the Eddie Guerrero spot. I feel that like that would have been hilarious. I was like, please, for the love of God, here's what I want. Um, Make Sammy be the. I was like, dude, Sammy's going to be the one thrown out. Somebody's going to throw Sammy out. He's going to cost his team to win. It's the only way they would lose if that was the direction they would go. The other one was like EO and somebody are battling up top, and EO goes to swing and a miss and falls off, or gets smacked and falls off, or anything logical, something that makes sense. And it's got to be EO, or it's got to be maybe Nikki, but it had to be somebody. I would have said EO to take that fall because of how high it was, and she knows how to navigate that fall. Um, for the most part, she may not be able to get to the top rope all the way easy all the time, but at least she can take the hit. Um, yeah, like I said, dude, I don't feel like I need that top covered again. That's like Hell in a Cell level to me. I like Hell in the Cell where it's at. I'm happy Triple H got rid of that as a PLE. That's good. That's no longer a thing. They're going to make that a spectacle event now. That's going to make things so much better because you're going to have a lot more. You have a lot more people going after getting a feud to that. So in other words, instead of just having a match in there to have a match in there, the build to get there is where we're going, and I feel like that's more important. I feel like that's the reason for the damn thing in the first place. And Money in the Bank, if Money in the Bank goes away, I'm fine with that. Put it back to, WrestleMania. You can make that WrestleMania. You can make the women's on one day and the men's on the other day, or vice versa, or make WrestleMania one day again, and who cares? Y'all can do that. Yeah, you gotta have it all. Yeah, you gotta have one whole show dedicated to two matches, which is basically what we got last night out of War Games, Survivor Series War Games, because there was no traditional 5-on-5 elimination tag team matchups. There wasn't. So War Games had two matches that made sense. The rest of it was just filler, but it was 2 out of 3 ain't bad for the fillers. The Ronda Rousey match sucked, but beyond that, the rest of it was good. Minus the red cage. Really, dude, the red cage doesn't bother me. Red cage, blue cage, gold jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit? Happy? I mean, really, it doesn't. It doesn't matter what color the cage is. I don't care. Why don't you get the old steel blue one back with the big old pipe bars on it? Put them jokers in there, and because I bet that was a bitch to assemble. I bet that was a whole lot heavier and more expensive and everything else. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm normally pretty good about things like that. Yeah, cage, blue, black, red, silver, chrome, gunmetal gray, battleship gray, whatever. I don't care about color cage. It doesn't change anything. They put a cameraman inside now, so it doesn't matter. You saw a cameraman inside yesterday inside of War Games. I thought that was ludicrous. I'm like, this is nuts. Why would you have a cameraman in there? Having the two refs in there was extreme enough. It's just like there was just so much going on. But either way, it was, like I said, it was a good show. Well, folks, that's pretty much everything, and we've covered everything. We've talked some extra bullshit too. So thank you all for tuning in. Listen here. this Thursday night. Be sure you're back right here. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whichever one you want to use. I don't care. Use them all. If you've got more than one gimmick, you can gimmick, and you can have it on all of them. And you can pull me up on everything at the same time. Be crazy, wouldn't it? I don't know if anybody needs to hear that much of my mouth talking. But anyway, check me out on all those. Remember this Thursday night, which is December the 1st, we're talking to Mr. Cole McAfee. We're talking to Mr. Matty G. So that's your owner and your GM from Pro Wrestling Union. We'll be talking to them right here Thursday night for the Thursday Night Indie Spotlight. So that way we can line up this coming weekend's wrestling shows, which, just for matter of fact, it happens to be Pro Wrestling Union's Holiday Havoc coming to you Saturday, December the 3rd. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a good wrestling show where I'm there and doing things. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys, more to come on what's to come and how it's going to come here. And then, hopefully there's not a lot of cleanup. But thank you very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate all of you being here. At the comments, Chuck, Travis, appreciate y'all chiming in. You know how we do it. You know how it's been done, and you see how it's going. Once again, be sure you check us out on the XWW Network, Extreme World Wrestling. Or is it Extreme Wrestling World? What the hell? I done forgot. You know me, I can't remember. Extreme World Wrestling. See, I said it right. Jesus, people. Extreme World Wrestling. Be sure you check us out there. They are just a few likes and shares away from that 29,000 mark. If they just had 29,000 subscribers, A-okay with that. Let's get it. You guys, thanks again for joining me. We're getting out of here at a decent time tonight. So it's been real. It's been fun. Hell yeah. It's been real fun. I'll catch you next time. See you Thursday. Thus proclaimed. The Saint.